Facebook, Zoom, operator error interaction, but we are live now, and I say welcome. Happy, what day of the week is this? Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. This is Christine Citrano. I am your 2020 Florida State President, and I am thrilled beyond belief to have this panel of women here today. These are, with one exception, well, first of all, let me start with the exception, because she is exceptional, and that is our 2018 National Past President, Joanne Stevens from Texas. Joanne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Oh, and then the other women here are your national liaison candidates, and we have, let's see, we have, well, Stacy Krolak from Arizona. We have Rose Lapira from New Jersey. Let's see, Tammy Marasia from Colorado. And number 4, Sheila Moran. Sheila Moran from Texas is not on the line yet, but we know she's trying to get in, so she'll join us in half a second. And then last but never least, Eileen Oldroyd from California. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
So I want to start off with Joanne, if I will. If you could please explain to our audience, what is the National Liaison and how did this come about?
Okay, I would love to, and thank you for the opportunity. Let me first start by saying that when the National Executive Committee, really got together to look at all of this data, there were a couple of things that we did first. And I think the most important thing is we all know that our new hashtag is Leaders Made Here. As an organization, we had to embrace that leadership development was our niche. That's what we're known for, and we really had to own that. So in all of the work that we did on the new strategic plan and in setting the new governance structures, the goal was twofold. Number one, that every position within the council had to give or have a meaningful contribution towards accomplishing our mission statement. And secondly, because we are a leadership development organization, that whoever that person is serving in that role is actually finding value and benefit, and they're learning and growing from that experience. So those were the criteria that we kind of set up when we started working on this. And so what we also began to notice is that many people were kind of skipping the position of regional vice president. They were serving as maybe a state president and then moving on to the national line. And we began to question that maybe our members didn't see a benefit or a value. So a presidential advisory group was sort of set up, and we looked at all the pros and cons of, in a perfect world, what would this position look like? And so that's really kind of how we started about creating this. And so I think that our research showed us that the regional vice presidents were, and the governors for that matter, there was a very inconsistent way that the role was being utilized across the country. So there was a lack of consistency. There was also varying degrees of education and knowledge and credentials in the people that were holding those positions. And so what we wanted to do was to really create this position as we thought it would operate in the best manner. So we came up with a new position, with a new name, because let's face it, if we had just named it and kept the title RVP, people would automatically think back to what they knew the RVP to be. And so we gave them new responsibilities. We changed the way they are elected, because again, we feel that they are probably potentially they are going to be our national line officers at some point. And we wanted them not only to have that experience and the education of going before a nominating committee, but also we want them to understand the importance of this role. And again, because there's also accountability that we've built into it. So really the National Liaison is going to lead a team, and it's a state leadership team. The state presidents, the state liaisons are part of that team. As you know, they will sit on the executive committee during their year. And what we envision and hope is that there will be a two-way flow of communication. They will be in the room when planning takes place, when decisions are made. They will understand the rationale, and then they in turn can communicate that into their regions. And they can bring to us at the national executive level trends, issues, what's happening, what are the challenges, what are the emerging leaders. So again, it's a two-way communication flow that we think will be beneficial to all parties. And I guess we also see their role as helping national in the regions with things like mediation or conflict resolution. They may work on compliance. They may also work on starting new networks. So again, I think there's a whole list of things that we see them doing, and I think more importantly, it becomes a valuable leadership opportunity and development opportunity for these individuals, and also it benefits the organization.
Well, it sounds like it was very well thought out. Now, now in the past, we've had multiple regions, but with this role, it is now limited essentially to 3 national liaisons. Would you like to go into a little bit of detail about that?
Again, you know, we researched the best way to divide the regions. And we did look at things like where were there state networks, because as you know, we have 23, I believe, state networks. We don't have 50. So we looked at where the state networks are. Where is our membership? We also looked at things like if there are states without that state network and maybe they have local networks that are trying to survive, and they don't have the benefit of having a state to help and guide them, that they can rely on this regional vice president and her team. So I think that we tried to make it fair and equitable. We also looked at states that actually kind of do business with each other as just a trend, and tried to keep those states within the same areas. So again, this too was proposed and well thought of. We looked at everything from 3 to 4 to 5 and actually came down to the 3 regions across the country.
And where are those regions? What are the dividing lines for those regions? I mean, you know, east, west, central, more or less. I know we're them, but
yes, but it is east, west, and central, and there is a map that we have shared with everyone now. That
thank you, Tammy.
Oh, okay, she's got the map, but
there you go.
That was the finalized, and I think you'll see that the western states are not. I mean, they're probably the ones that were affected the least. Central just becomes much larger down the middle of the state. And I think then the the eastern region picks up some of the states that I think were Alabama, and some of the states that have been in other regions now will be in that eastern.
Okay, great. All right, ladies, we're going to go and welcome Sheila Moran. Let me unmute you for just a brief second. I hate working off of this little laptop, so bear with me. There's Tammy's unmuted, Stacy's unmuted, Sheila's unmuted. Welcome. Eileen. Okay, I think, nope, Rose, we didn't get you unmuted. There you go. And Eileen, unmute. There we are. Now you can all talk, but only one at a time. Welcome, Sheila. I'm going to have each one of you, I'll call your name out, and if you could just give the audience here just a brief intro to who you are, what is your network, and what is your experience at this point. And we'll start with Stacy Krolak.
Good morning, everyone. Stacy Krolak from the sunny state of Arizona. I am from the home network of Scottsdale, Arizona. I was a state past president and also region vice president for Region 4 in 2019. And now I'm currently running for the slated candidate for the Central Liaison. I'm so thrilled and happy to serve this wonderful organization that's taught me so very much. And I'm looking forward to helping and identifying more leaders and being that line of communication from national to our local networks and states. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Rose Lapira, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rose Lapira from the Garden State, which is New Jersey. So I just want to thank you, Christine and Rebecca and Joanne and all of you ladies for being here too. I'm really excited to be in this position. Now, last year was really a busy year. I was regional vice president. Actually, with that, I was also on the finance and budget and on the nominating committee. So we really got to do a lot, right? The ones that we were 2019. We had a fabulous regional conference in Cape May, New Jersey last year, which was attended by over 100 people. I mean, it was really, 100 members. It was really great. And we're really excited about this. I mean, my journey started when somebody asked me to start a network in Bergen County, New Jersey. So I was asked by the Board of Realtors. So of course, I never say no. Yes, I'll do it. So I was the founding president, and then I went on to be the governor and the state president and so forth. So here I am today, and I'm very, very proud to have this opportunity to be a candidate for National Liaison. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and you're welcome. Tammy Morasia.
Well, hello from Denver, Colorado, Women's Council members. Well, I'm going to say hello again because I got to be down in Florida for your installation when you guys were dressed so beautifully. Sorry, I'm going there because you were amazing looking. But also, I got to see you guys all walk across the stage, 29 networks, and then your state, your state network. And it was beautiful, beautiful. I loved when you ushered us into the room. That was really cool. So
we do
good
our
job.
best.
Yeah, it was a good job. And, we got to dance, and I love to dance. So thank you again for that. But, being Region 4 Vice President this year, I've been able to network with all of the members that are in my region, the state presidents and obviously the local. But being a candidate, I've been visiting across the country, hearing what people have to say and how can we make the nationals better, and being a listener, right? That's the most important. You're going to listen to people, and then you're going to, make sure that we, pass on your ideas, which you have tons of them. Okay, I know that. I know they're all across the country. So you need somebody who's going to listen and also going to make sure that they share that back to the nationals. you know, from the get-go, I don't dip my toe in anything. So I was your education chair. And then I had to drive an hour and a half down to the meeting. So I decided to start another network. And with 30 other women, okay, not on my own, nothing happens on my own. And then I was your governor the following year. And then we started another network. I helped another network. We're looking at maybe starting another one also here, and maybe even at the state, because we don't have one of those right now. We don't have a state network. So we're going to work on that. But you talked about, Joanne, that national leadership, being able to, this is why this is so important, this position. I'm in Leadership Academy this year, and that's super cool. You should try and get on that one, you know, right? But what happens is you hang out with the national leaders. You see what they see on the 30,000, you know, view from above. And it's just been so pleasant for me to, you know, to see that and then to bring it back locally, nationally, and regionally, because I'm their Region 4 VP. Thanks.
Wonderful, thank you. Miss Sheila.
Hello, Florida. I'm Sheila Moran, and I hail from the great state of Texas. My home network is San Antonio, and I was their president in 2013, and then I was Texas president in 2018. Thankfully, feel very humbled to have been slated for the Western region, so I'm excited about today's meeting and seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And Eileen.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Eileen Oldroyd. A lot of people call me Green Eileen because I'm trying to save the environment one transaction at a time. And we're learning a lot during this sheltering in place. We're learning that the environment is improving now that we're sheltered in place. It's like we have better outdoor air quality, but I don't know about indoor air quality, so we need to work on that. So currently I am serving as the 2020 California State President. We have 32 networks, and I was talking to Brenda Lee not too long ago. She's from, of course, Michigan, and she has 11 networks. And I said, why didn't I choose that one? But I'm in California, and we have 32. And I've had the wonderful experience of chartering 3 new networks, but also dechartering two others. And so there's a certain time when a network is just it's just not serving the members to have a network in a particular area. It's just either too small, not enough members, or we just don't have a pipeline of leadership. And I think what you need to know is that's okay. You know, that really is okay, because for us, we're the 1%ers, you know, we're the 1%ers. We're 1% of the membership of NAR, but we hold 22% plus of the leadership positions. And so it's okay to decharter a network and send them on their way to lead in a different capacity, because after all, we are a transitionary organization. And so people move to their state, they move to their local, and they move to national. And I'm certainly a product of that, because after this call, I'm actually going to be on an NAR call for a presidential advisory group and talking about sustainability. So that's the other, I'm really fortunate that I get to live both my passions, actually. So I get to live my Women's Council passion, and I get to live my NAR passion in the green space. But when it comes to serving with Women's Council, I've had the blessing. It was when I was in an NAR 360, I thought to myself, I just want to be a faculty member of NAR 360 and give that gift of education to our president-elects that are so eager to learn. And so I've had Joanne Stevens actually appointed me to be a network faculty, and then I was appointed again the next year. So that was a blessing. I was also chair of a steering committee. I was on finance and budget. So I've served on a national level, but being California State President, it's definitely filling my soul tank. And even though we're in this virtual space, I found that we can communicate on a much more intimate level. So it's been a great blessing. So
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I have some questions for you. So I'm just going to randomly ask questions of you all. And we'll start with Stacy. So Stacy, how do you feel about serving in an area you are not from or perhaps have never been to?
Okay, so serving in an area that I'm not from or never been to, I think is a great idea. We found that if you have lived or if you have visited and you're away from that area about, I don't know, approximately 100 miles, you're now considered an expert. And so what I think is so interesting about that concept is because that then I can take the information and the knowledge that I've learned in my area, go to that area, find out what their needs are for leadership and structure and whatnot, and share what's worked in our area, and then vice versa. And so I really think that it's actually a wonderful idea. Plus, I love to meet new people, new leaders, and see who is emerging in that area and how I can help better assist them.
Wonderful. All right. Tammy, how do you foresee this position benefiting the regions?
You know, I love also the part of the caucus too that's being implemented with this, because I think that gives a voice. And you know, I love how the National Association of Realtors does it, and we're just going to, you know, streamline it here, just like we're streamlining the state. The whole model is just such more collaborative, I guess, more like it, right? And we're going to align. That's what Joanne talked about earlier. We're going to align with each other, so that, again, we're kind of saying the same thing, especially when you hit, you know, challenges right now. You know, we're in challenges and we all have to be saying the same thing. So this is just the last phase of us getting, you know, in line together, because we all have the same, you know, motivation and vision for the council. So I think overall, it's really, really going to help. Again, with the states, the three national liaisons being able to sit on the executive council and see that, and then again, just being very, very transparent and communicative to all of our, you know, our local states, and networks. So I just think it's going to be the best thing yet. And I can't wait to help. Thanks.
Great. All right. Rose, what is one unique strength that you bring to this position?
Let's see. I want to pick one. I also love to listen, which is one, but I will go somewhere else now because you talked about it. But I think having the strength to organize different people, have the vision to have everybody together, whether it's by a Zoom call or whatever it is, but really strength and listening to what everybody needs, I think. So I'm there for you because somebody was there for me. So I just feel that that's the way I always work. And my strength is to be helpful and to be a leader, but more than anything, be helpful in anything that somebody needs. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Sheila, how are you going to prepare for this role?
I think the best thing that you can do when you are actually aware of what area that you might be handling is getting to know your networks. Because if you don't know your people and what their strengths and weaknesses are, as well as what their struggles and their successes are, it's kind of hard to be able to help them. Really dig deep into those networks, as well as making sure that lines and building relationships to have open flow communication from national down onto them and vice versa on up. So I think that's probably the first thing that would need to be established. And then from there, knowing what their niches are, because every network is different, I have learned. And so there's something special that makes each one of them. And how do we share in that wealth around the nation, where there might be an idea that I can pick up and share. But if I don't know those networks first, I'm not going to be able to do that as well. So I think that would probably be the first thing, make sure it is done.
Sounds like a good plan. Eileen, When did you first realize that you had something to contribute on a national level to the members?
I think it's how a lot of us enter leadership is somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, I think you have what it takes. And as much as I wanted to serve on a national level, I didn't know if I had the talent, because I look up to so many of these women, and of course 10% male members, never forget. So I look up to them, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I could ever be like them. So when somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, I think that you should serve on a national level, I think that was steering committee, actually. They don't exist anymore, but it was steering committee. I thought, okay, if somebody sees that in me, then I'm definitely going to see it in myself. And I'm actually quite shy. When I served on a local level, I was on the board of directors, and nobody knew I was there for about 6 months. So it's hard to believe, because I'm actually, very gregarious and have a lot
We're
of.
starting to doubt that.
I know. It's true, but it's true. It's true. So when I started talking about my ideas and digging deep about with vision and where this organization could go and our potential, and those ideas were accepted, I thought, oh gosh, maybe I can contribute. And so that really started me on a journey of leadership, of digging deep and thinking, where can we take Women's Council, and how can we make it a more robust organization that builds leaders for the industry? Because we got an incredible formula, but there's always ways to tweak it. And I think the other part of it was that I was accepted for my unique leadership style, and where on a local association they wanted me to be in a particular way, but Women's Council accepted me for who I was, and that allowed me to flourish. And so I think that being accepted for who I am as a leader has given me the fuel to really find other people's unique leadership style. So,
love that. Sheila, I'm going to ask this question. It's kind of similar to the one I just asked Eileen, but slightly different. And that is, how do you think this position advances our mission statement?
I think the concept of not having us divvied up into 8 different regions and it only being 3 is a great way for those 3 liaisons to be able to work together, not only for the flow of information, but I think it would be a lot stronger bond as well as sharing of information. But not only that, but being in that arena also will enlighten you to the other leaders around the country. So if you realize that there's something that you need to work on, or that you need to help strengthening, I think that you would find that there would be other opportunity. But not only that, but having 3 concise people that would be working with our locals of how can we help them, but also how can we help them nurture them and what they feel that they might need, as well as helping them move up. Because that's what Women's Council is about. It's about, leaders made here. So it's a great opportunity, I think, for this position to also be integrated with the state as well as the locals, to be able to scout, see where our talent is.
I couldn't agree with you more. Okay, let's see. Who am I going to pick on? All right, how about Stacy? No, I'm going to save that one.
Uh-oh.
Because I want all of you to answer it, that's why.
Okay.
He's gonna pick on me.
Okay, what is a short bit of advice that you can offer to our future leaders?
My advice for future leaders is to be open to change, be open to adaptability, as we've seen right now with this national pandemic. I believe that this hiccup that has hit all of us will be something that we will all see in the future in our life and our leadership journeys together. It'll repeat itself like these things do. But if we learn to be prepared, and I think preparedness would be the number one item that I would say to really work on yourself, because if we're prepared, then we will find a way to persevere. We'll find a way to never give up and to continue our mission. So to be prepared.
Okay, Good advice. Good advice. Okay, who else? Let me see. I'm going to say Rose. Tell us something about you that your bio doesn't mention. Something we wouldn't otherwise know.
Okay, let's see, where do I start? First of all, I was born in Italy, and
Cool.
I came here when I was almost 11 years old. I was 10. So in Italy, I just have to tell you, because this really bothered me for a while. So in Italy, I was a year ahead. I was advanced. I skipped grades and whatever. So there I was like in the 6th grade. I come here, I do not know any English at all. So they all decided because of my age, I should be in the 4th grade. So in March, I went into the 4th grade. I was maybe the oldest one there. And then as you get older, you also develop a little bit earlier than everybody else. So it's a little bit challenging, but I love Italy. I speak Italian, and I really am happy to be here. Thank you.
It's like a future Zoom call, Italian lessons. All right, Tammy, I'm going to ask you the same question. Tell us something about yourself that your bio doesn't include that we wouldn't otherwise know.
Okay, so
I didn't prepare you guys with this one.
I've done some commercials. Okay.
Oh.
Joanne knows this because we did it at Regional BP. Yeah, I bought a couple of cars. I knew they did commercials, and I said, I heard you do commercials. They like, yeah. So they selected me and my husband. And then I got all these calls coming in that morning. It aired from my friends and family all over town. I had forgotten that we did it. And who knew when it was gonna to air. But I also love to dance. Now, I'm sorry, I did.
That's not a secret. Anybody at that Florida installation knows that.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I love art. I love, I'll take repurpose any kind of canvas that you have. I ask any of my friends or family if you have old canvases, because I just repurpose them. And I think I've gotten 4 or 5 done since the time we're calling, COVID. So I like both sides of my brain to continue to work, the creativity side and also, obviously both sides. So I enjoy that. And I'm also a caretaker for my parents. And I've been doing that for about 7 years. Dad's gone, but mom's birthday's today. It's her
Happy
80th
birthday,
birthday.
Oh.
I have the house decorated crazy with balloons everywhere. It's great. That's
wonderful. Well, speaking of birthdays, tomorrow is Miss Sheila Moran's birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh,
And so I'm going to throw this question your way. Who would you like to thank for inspiring you or helping you on your journey?
Oh my gosh, there's so many people, and I make sure that I do thank them when I realize them. But I lost my dad about 3 years ago, and I know I thanked him for all the work and effort that he put into me, but he's still the one that I would thank today, because there's so many times now that he's gone. I'm sorry, it's so early for this. So many times that he's gone that I still hear his lessons in my head. And so I'm still thankful for him.
That's wonderful. Eileen, how about you?
Well, it's actually, there's so many people along this journey that have given me amazing advice, have challenged me, that I've looked up to. But it all started with Bobby Nelson, who was national president several years ago. And my first meeting with Women's Council was a national meeting. We were in Orlando, and she was giving her last governing board meeting. And when I was president-elect, and I knew I was going to be president the next year, I was overwhelmed in Orlando, and I thought, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I had already prepared myself to quit and step down and saying, this is just it's just too much for me. I just don't think that I could do it. But Bobby Nelson, when she was up on the podium, she was mispronouncing a few words. And I thought, okay, well, maybe as national president, I guess it's okay, you know, to fumble a little bit because, you know, I thought you had to be perfect. And then she looked at her governing board and she got back on the microphone and she said that she had had 2 brain surgeries because she had cancer. And so I thought to myself, here I am, you know, what I talked about in our installation speech is that I'm recovering from panic disorder and depression, and Women's Council is a huge part of my recovery. And so I thought to myself, you know, if she can do that, if she can, I can. And so that was a turning point. That was a turning point in who I am today. And so I in fact, this necklace right here belonged to Bobby Nelson. She passed away from cancer, and I actually won this in a silent auction. And this is very near and dear to my heart. You know, having Bobby Nelson this close to me, speaking to me all the time is powerful.
Yeah, she was certainly a powerful, wonderful presence in our world.
Yeah.
Stacy, tell us something about you that we don't know, that would not be in your bio.
Okay. Something about myself that you would not know is that I actually grew up on a pig farm in Ohio. And I was raised by both sets of grandparents. My parents were very young when they got married. And so I was lucky enough to be raised by both sets of grandparents. And I would say very modest life too, very, very modest. And so I knew right then that that's when I wanted to dive into the business world and get involved in businesses, which I did later in life. But something else that you might not know about me is I love the thrill of speed. So roller coasters, skydiving, my daughter and I skydiving together, things like that. If I had to do my life over again, I think I would be a race car driver. I love speed.
Yeah, Joanne does too. Yes, do I.
Yes, she does.
Yes.
I think a wonderful birthday gift. If you're listening, honey, this is what I want. A wonderful birthday gift would be one of those, you know, lessons where you learn how to go around the track. I think I would just die and go to heaven with that one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They do that in Georgia, you know.
Yeah.
They have something in Florida here too, so that's why I'm like, hey, you. All right, well, we're just about ready to wrap it up, but we do have one question, and Joanne, I'm gonna ask this of you. One of our panelists would like some clarification with regard to the voting process. That, so 3 of these women are actually slated candidates. They were slated by the nominating committee, and 2 are running from the floor for these positions. Can you explain in the voting process? She wants to know, does it matter what area they are from as we are choosing 3 to serve any area?
Okay, sure. Let me see if I can explain how this happened. Each of the nominating committee slated the 3 candidates for specific regions.
Mm-hmm.
And then the candidates that will be running from the floor have declared that they want to run in specific regions. So consequently, what will happen is the election, I'm assuming, will be each region individually, and you will have the voting members, the voting delegates, shall we say, will be voting on all 3 races. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Does that answer her question?
She hasn't piped in yet, but so for so for my own clarification, then when you are going in to vote, when the delegate is going in to vote, they are voting for the 3 candidates, not just simply the candidate for their region.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe.
Delegates, yeah, all voting delegates will vote in all 3 elections.
So then her response is, so that means some areas will have 2 members in that area. 2 candidates, I think, is what she might be referring to.
Yes,
Yes.
regions will have 2 candidates. Yes,
Yes.
that is true.
Okay. All right. Ladies, would you like to give one more, just, before we end this meeting, because I know Eileen has to go and run to her NAR meeting, one word of advice or just something to leave, one word to leave with the group today. We'll start with Rose. One word.
Just one word.
Yes, I'm limiting you to one word.
Oh,
Grace.
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 Sheila.
I'd say in this climate that everybody's experiencing right now would be positivity.
Love that. Stacy.
I would say in this climate that we're in would be adaptability.
Eileen.
the word that comes to mind is grit.
Tammy.
Well, I love adaptability. I'm going with that.
Okay. And Joanne.
Oh,
Why not?
creativity.
All right. And my one word would be love.
Good one.
Yeah. Ladies, thank you so very much. I really appreciate your time on this call. I hope this is I hope that you've enjoyed yourselves, number one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we won't be able to be together in real life
Right.
next month, but we'll certainly all be participating on at the virtual meeting. And just thank you so much for clarifying and introducing yourselves for those in my state who do not know you. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Bye.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank
And we
you.
say